Okay, now let me share my screen. So much going on. So okay, ta-da. Nope, this is not what I wanted. How do I get out of presenter view? Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It's my first time teaching from two screens. Okay, so be patient with me. So a little course like little backup. So as you guys all know, because this is probably not your first course this week, we will be teaching all online. This is a new experience for everyone, so be patient. And feedback is always welcome to help improve the course and instruction. So again, welcome to Bio 150. I am Professor KJ Morris. I'm not sure how much you guys have heard about this course, but this is the intro course of biology for STEM majors. So if you are not a STEM major, you probably want to be in Bio 101 or another science that is not required for people to kind of like major in STEM. The difference between this course and just the typical kind of like bio courses is that we go a lot more in detail. So some people say that makes the course harder. For me, it makes it more interesting because instead of learning things at surface level, we really get to dive into it and figure out more of the biology and the biological mechanisms that really go into things. And that helps you, gives you a great foundation to build on for your further education. So, clicky. Okay, so a little about me. So I am your course instructor. My background is in biochemistry and molecular biology. So I have my PhD in that. Teaching is something I do on the side. This is my first time teaching at Montgomery College, so I'm really excited. In my full-time job, I work as a science education researcher at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. And so what that basically means is that we try to study ways in which we can keep young people engaged with science. So we do a lot of outreach with middle school and high school kids. So if sometimes I sound a little corny, it's just because I'm used to talking to younger kids. So I do apologize. But with that being said, our work is really targeted at creating more scientists, particularly from underserved groups or underrepresented groups in the US, so we can remain competitive and things like that. I did not always want to be a scientist, probably similar to a lot of you. I was pre-med. Then when I started going to college, got introduced into undergraduate research, figured out I love working in the lab, which is weird because I don't do that now. But at the time, I loved working in the lab. And then just had no idea what a PhD was. I was the first person in my family to go to college. But, you know, just through networking and meeting other people when I started college and mentors and things like that, got guided to some graduate programs. I attended Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm, oh yeah, and I was born in Mississippi, so I'm a natural Southerner, but I've been in Maryland for a while now. Yeah, and so after grad school, I found a job up here, which I just told you about, and now I teach. So I will be your course instructor. You also have, let's see, Elle, are you here? Of course. Okay, so later on in the course today, hopefully you have what's called an ATPA coach. She is almost like a in-house tutor for the course. Is ways to think about her. She'll be attending some of your lectures in the background. As we get to the syllabus of the course, you'll see her information. She's probably already contacted you. So feel free to reach out to her as well. She'll be a secondary resource for things that you'll be learning in the course. Any questions about me so far? Okay. Oop, nope, skip something. Oop, no, got out of order. So we'll talk about the course before we talk about you guys. Actually, no, let's go ahead and do our icebreaker. So let's learn a little bit about you guys since we have time. So I like icebreakers. I like putting people on the spot. It's already awkward enough talking to a computer screen. So let's try to make this enjoyable as possible. So we'll take a little way. This is a small class, so it's good for you guys to kind of get to know each other a little bit. You'll be working in groups quite a bit during the course section. So we'll do a little icebreaker. So you'll just say your name, your pronouns, if you, he, him, she, her, or they, them. Whatever you identify with, what your major is, kind of career interests, hometown, and favorite cartoon character. So I'll go first, and then I'll just go through the names that I see kind of like pop up on my Zoom. So don't be shy when I call you. So you guys already know my name, pronouns he, him. My major, I started off with a biology major. I stuck with that, but I just switched from pre-med to just like general biology, and then picked up biochemistry and molecular biology in grad school. Hometown, from Jackson, Mississippi. Favorite cartoon character, here's actually ill. When I was younger, I was a really big Rugrats fan. So I loved Phil and Lil and Chucky from Rugrats, not the crazy doll. Okay, next, how about you, Camilla? Because you're the first person on my screen. Fernandez. We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Sorry. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Camila Fernandez. She, her, I guess are my pronouns. My major is biology. I was actually born in Peru, in a city in the south of Peru called Arequipa. So I'm foreign. My favorite cartoon character. Ooh, that's hard. I like Mr. Whiskers from Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. It's kind of silly. So yeah.
No, it's perfect. Everyone has their. This is a fun way to see everyone's personality. Okay, Matt Morris, you're next. Thanks, Camilla.
Hmm?
Matt, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to Matt. Deanna Granillo. Diana.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Diana Granillo. My pronouns are she, her. My major is biochemistry, and my hometown is Langley Park. And my favorite cartoon, well, I'm a huge Disney fan, so I would to say like Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, cool. And Matt sent his in on the chat, so I'll just read his. So his name's Matt. It's pronounced he, him. Hometown is from Bethesda, and favorite cartoon characters is Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I don't remember which one was Ed, but I think that was like the main one, not the dumb one. But I don't know. I'm sure you can tell us later. Next, I'm also a butcher of names, so I apologize. Please don't get offended, just correct me. David Tambini.
Yeah, my name's David. I am he, him. My major is physical therapy. I am from Olney, and my favorite cartoon character, I guess I'd say SpongeBob.
Cool. Have some SpongeBob references today. I'm actually going to take a break from this and introduce Elle. She's your ATPA coach that I mentioned earlier. Are you ready, Elle? Can you hear us? I think we can't.
Hi, I'm Elle. Would you like me to answer the question?
Yeah, of course. Everyone's doing it.
I don't see the questions on the screen.
Oh, I took them down. Sorry, because I was trying to see them. But your name, your pronouns, what your major was, your hometown, and favorite cartoon character.
I'm Professor Elle Millender. My pronouns are she and her. And I was a biology major and environmental engineering major in undergrad. In grad school, I was a clinical lab science with a concentration biotechnology major. And my favorite cartoon would have to be Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, that's a good one.
So all the girl power in there.
Anyone in particular or all three?
The blue one, because my favorite color is blue.
Bubbles.
But although I like the personality of the green one the best.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Next, Bernadette.
Hi, my name is Bernadette Salilid. My pronouns are she, her. My major is, I'm majoring in nursing. My hometown is, I'm originally from the Philippines, but I moved here 4 years ago in the States. And my favorite cartoon character is Iceberg from We Bare Bears.
Cool. I sad to say I don't know that one. I'll add it to my list. Next, Bethany. Bethany? Okay, come back to Bethany.
Bethany, we couldn't hear you. Sorry.
I see. Okay, maybe Bethany will chat us. Where was I? Chris? No last name, Chris?
Yeah, it's Garcia.
Uh,
I'm a he, him. My major is exercise science. My hometown is Silver Spring, Maryland. And my favorite cartoon character is SpongeBob.
Cool. Nice to meet you, Chris. Sorry, you guys are jumping around in my feet, so I may miss somebody. Christina Pastora?
Oh, it's Christian.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Hold on, there we go. Hi, so my name is Christian. My pronouns are him, he. My hometown is Rockville, Maryland. I grew up here, lived in Maryland my whole life. My favorite cartoon character, I'd say, would be Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay. I just rewatched that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And they also had a sequel of The Legend of Korra as well.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty good too.
Yeah.
You need something else to watch on Netflix after class, after you're done studying. Of course. Thanks, Kristen. Clifford Decker. Clifford. Clifford.
Hello.
Clifford, if you're there, you're on mute.
We can hear you now.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. My name is Clifford. My major is computer science. I go by he, her. I mean, pronouns he, her. But my hometown is Maryland. If my favorite cartoon character, I'll probably go with her from Invader Zim.
Oh, I forgot about that show. Good one. Thanks, Clifford. Okay. Elim G.
Hello, it's Ellie.
Okay.
Not in a rude way. My pronouns are she, her. My favorite cartoon character is basic, but it's SpongeBob. And my major is nursing. And my hometown is Bethesda.
Cool. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Who else is next? Ethan Arias.
Hi, my name is Ethan Arias. My pronoun is he, him. My major is biological sciences. My hometown is Silver Spring, Maryland. And my favorite cartoon character is probably Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Was that the mouse or the cat?
That was a mouse.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's been a while. Thank you, Ethan. Next, Falo Shade.
Hi, my name is Falah Shade. I go by Sade. My pronoun is her, she. Hometown is Silver Spring, Maryland. Favorite cartoon, probably Bugs Bunny.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Next, Herbert Marquez.
Yeah, it's Marcus.
Marcus.
Yeah. I go by Herbie. My pronouns are he, him. My major is bio and chem studies. And favorite cartoon character would be Richie Rich.
Yeah. I've only seen the movie. I didn't know there was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jackie Rodriguez.
All right, hi, my name is Jacqueline Rodriguez, but I go by Jackie. My pronouns are she and her. My major is medical sonography. My hometown is from Orange County, California. And my favorite cartoon is Courage from Courage and the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, that was a good one too. Throwbacks. Thank you for sharing. Jasmine Jefferson.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. Jasmine Jefferson. My pronouns are she, her. My hometown is DC. My major is biology, and my favorite cartoon character is Rick from Rick and Morty.
Good one as well. Thank you, Jasmine. Where was I? Malia Register.
Hi, my name is Camila, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm majoring in biology, and I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland, and I like The Simpsons.
Cool, thank you. How badly did I mess up your name?
It was all right.
Okay, thank you. Maya B.
It's just Maya.
Maya.
My name is Maya. My pronouns are she, her. I'm majoring in nursing. My hometown is Johannesburg, South Africa. And my favorite cartoon character is probably Mabel from Gravity Falls.
That one I don't know. Another one from my list. Thank you, Maya. Is it Noily?
Yeah, it's Noily. Okay, my name is Noily. My pronouns are she, her. My hometown is Hayward, California. My major is biology, and my favorite cartoon character would be Sailor Moon.
Ah, classic. Thank you for sharing. Peggy?
Hi, my name is Peggy. I'm majoring in nursing, and my hometown is in Ghana. My favorite character is Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Oh, another one. Thank you, Peggy. This girl has jumped all over the place. So let's see who that is. Is it Rosie?
Yes, that's me. My name is Rosie. I'm she, her. I'm majoring in biological sciences. I'm from El Salvador, and my favorite cartoon character would be Tom from Tom and Jerry.
Thank you for sharing. Is it Zindi?
Zende.
Zende.
And my pronouns is he, him. My major is exercise science. And my favorite cartoon character is probably Johnny Bravo.
At least for me anyway. Next, is it Sigurd?
Hey, yeah, it's Sigurd, but you can call me Siggy. It might be easier.
Whichever you prefer.
So I'm a he, him. I'm from a small town in Norway called Lyngdal. My major is biological sciences, but I'll probably jump over to biotechnology. Let's see. What am I forgetting? My favorite cartoon character? I don't have a specific one, but I would like to say Bob from Bob's Burgers, because he doesn't want to do stuff, he just wants to do his own things, but he always gets dragged into other people's shenanigans. So.
Good one, good one. Did I miss anyone? I apologize if I did. I was trying to keep the roster straight, but it was moving. Speak now or forever. Okay, it looks like, let's check this chat. Okay. So we'll jump back into the PowerPoint now that we have a little icebreaker and we all kind of know each other a little bit better. So let's talk about the course. Just to start back on screen share. Okay. Okay, so for the course, hopefully all of you got a chance to look at the syllabus. If not, we'll go through it a little bit right now. So this is kind of your Blackboard page for this course. You have a separate one. There's one for the lecture and one for the lab. I'll also be your instructor for lab, so you'll be with me kind of all day. But we'll talk about the lab in the next hour. So kind of things that are important. Obviously, you guys all found the Zoom link, so that was great. Course documents. The most important thing that's in there right now is the syllabus, so we'll go ahead and open that up. Some people in the waiting room. Okay, so things to kind of highlight on the syllabus. Obviously, this is my contact information, so you have my email address. You can also shoot me an email throughout CourseMail and Blackboard. You also have the option of if you want to hit me up on GroupMe, that works as well if you guys use that. If you want more of a kind of a text form to use. Your ATPA coach, Professor L, who introduced herself, her information is also on the syllabus. It's a little bit down below, but I'll show you guys later. The syllabus also goes over some of the course benchmarks, talks about kind of like what you can expect to get out of this course. I also put a little blurb about like how basically this course is going to function with the pandemic. Obviously, we'll be using Zoom. Another app that if all of you guys have smartphones, that'll actually make the course a little bit more interactive. If it's the Vivox application. It's a free app, but it allows us to you to kind of like join the section. And so instead of always like talking, because in future lectures, there'll be some poll questions that I would like for you to respond to. So if you guys can go ahead and download the app on your phone. There are 2 textbooks for the course. There's a free one. Both of these are e-texts. So the free textbook can be found at this link. If you would prefer the other test course book, the Campbell Biology one, I think it's about, I think you can get access to it for like $60. Either one of them will be fine, just whichever one you're more comfortable with using. Obviously, you'll need your computer, Zoom access, reliable internet, every day it's not going to be perfect, but hopefully we can all get into a situation where it works well for most of the time. Course assignments. There are basically 4 different types of assignments. There'll be 4 unit exams and 1 final exam. The exams will be administered by a service called ProctorU. It's basically, how do you explain this? A contracted tutoring service. And so you'll take your exam from your computer, but basically someone will be watching you through your computer camera, and you'll have to download some software that kind of prevents you from looking at other like web browsers and things like that. So it'll almost be like you're taking a test with like a physical proctor, but instead it'll all just be virtual. I know it's not the most ideal, but I think it's the best situation for dealing with the kind of pandemic. You'll also have some online quizzes. These will mostly be posted on Thursday. They will be timed, but they are open book and things like that, so you can use your notes. Each quiz is usually tailored for almost like an assessment to see how you grasp the material that was covered that week. And so the quiz will kind of let you know what you need to brush up on, what you might want to talk to your ATPA coach about, and things like that. We'll also have some critical thinking activities. So these will be there'll be 4 of these throughout the semester. These are kind of like, so a lot of science is kind of just like taught at like the surface level, and you don't really get a chance to apply it in the actual lecture course. Most of the time you have to do that in lab. But with these type of activities, they kind of like challenge you to think about the subject matter in a deeper context and kind of apply it. We'll talk more about these activities when it gets closer to the due date. And every week you'll have a weekly reading response activity that we'll do. So I'll post either an article, or it might be a podcast. It could be this week it's a TED Talk video. It'll be some form of that related to some type of science content. You'll be given some, what do you call it? Some prompt questions. And then from there, you'll be able to kind of answer those questions and provide feedback or respond to the piece that you're reading based off of that. Grading system is pretty straightforward. Your lecture and your lab make up your final grade. You can see how all that's like broken down on the syllabus. And then finally, there are some course policies. Attendance, it's not required, but we do a lot of discussion and a lot of group work with attendance. So I prefer all of you to be here. The lectures will be recorded and posted, but they probably won't be posted until Friday. So it'll be best to attend lecture and things like that to help you with your quizzes. Makeup tests, hopefully we won't have to do that, but basically you need to let me know before. Obviously, academic honesty, just don't cheat. Here's all your ATPA coach information. Professor Eldridge, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, sure. So the purpose of ATPA is just to help fill in any gaps where you might want to ask questions and get a little bit more information about a topic. We can do a deep dive into something if several people have an issue with a particular concept. We can try different approaches. It's a great time to take a learning style quiz that I usually do with my ATPA sessions, all those that come. And I really try to cater the study sessions towards your learning style. For instance, I'm visual and tactile is a little more difficult since we're not in person, but I try to find activities that help make it stick. help make the material stick a little bit better. So if you have any questions outside of class with Dr. Morris, you know, you can bring them to me during the coaching session and we can go in a little bit deeper. And also feel free to text me via the Remind app. So the Zoom meeting that I'm using the same one for the class I'm teaching. So the Zoom passcode is Bio 101, but it is for Bio 150 as well. And then the Remind app, you just need to do MC Bio 150. And you can text me and I'll send out reminders for upcoming quizzes, upcoming exams, different resources that the school offers, as well as if you're doing your homework or you're studying and you have just a quick question, you can send me a text message via the Remind app and I can kind of help walk you through the thinking process to get the answer to the question. And then please always, always, always utilize me, reach out to me, as well as Dr. Morris. I'm sure he'd be happy to help because you're not the only person. I know it may feel like you're the only person, but you are not the only person that has a question about whatever it is that you have a question about. This is all new material for everyone. And if you have a question about it, other people probably do too. So don't try to like fight your way through it on your own. We're resources, we're here for you. This is what we do. This is what we love to do, is to help people learn science. And so please utilize us. And by letting us know that you have a question, maybe we can present that information in a different way, so that other people who might not have the courage in that moment to say something about them struggling with a particular concept will be able to get answers as well. And then hopefully in turn, they'll feel more comfortable asking questions and they might have a question that you have later on. So please utilize me. I'm happy to help in any way. I'm happy to do more one-on-one sessions if you want to schedule something, but I also will be available consistently once a week, just for an hour or so. So if you want to pop in and ask your questions, that's totally fine.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, sorry for talking so much, Dr. Morris.
No, it's good. Hopefully, you're such a valuable resource to the course, and so we want everyone to be clear on how to use you. Okay, and so other things just in the syllabus, obviously, our lecture topics, you'll see that each of them align to either a chapter or chapters in the OpenStack book or the Pearson book. So if you're using one of the other, just make sure you're on the right kind of page with that. The schedule might change just depending on how quickly or how slowly we move through things. And then last but not least is additional resources. So we're not always going to be aware of your situations or your needs without you letting us know. So we put together a lot of resources for students that MC offers, such as disability support, basic needs, if you need to talk to the dean, student health and wellness, mobile markets, campus food pantries, or anything like that. Please feel free to kind of like use those services or reach out to us if you need anything. You know, don't be ashamed of needing everything. Everyone needs stuff at a particular time. You know, and it's also a crazy time. We're in a pandemic. So we want to make sure that you guys have everything in this course that you need to succeed. Okay. So with that, how do I get out of this? Nope. Go away. Where's my PowerPoint? Hold on. With that, I'll take any questions before we jump started into the lecture. Anything so far? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And show again, and then. Okay, so now that we've talked about the course, let's actually go ahead and jump in. So today we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of biology. So today we'll get like a brief introduction that'll kind of lay some of the framework for how we think about biology, how we think about biology today, and kind of like how we think about the principle of life itself, because biology is the study of life. So one of the things I really like to do in my course is to get you guys to think like scientists. And with this first activity, I want you guys all to pretend like we just discovered a new land. And so I work with my nephew a lot. He loves the Magic School Bus. So if any of you all are familiar with that, we'll take a little field trip. So I'm going to play a video, and I want you to watch the video and kind of just make note of your thoughts. Pretend like this is like the first time you are seeing any of this. Think about like what questions are like kind of like running through your head. What do you find interesting? And things like that. So it's a 5-minute video. We won't watch all of it, but we'll watch a couple minutes. We'll stop it there. Okay. So now it's you guys' turn. So what were some of the observations you made? Feel free to just kind of like throw them out. Anybody?
It was like all of nature. We saw a lot of nature, and we saw a lot of the environment and the life around it that lives there and is populated in that exact environment.
Cool. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's the question?
Is there like a specific like aspect to the environment that attracts like such a high amount of like amphibians and reptiles?
That is a good question. Hold that thought for a second. Anyone else?
The different type of species.
So you notice a lot of different types of species. Cool. So what you guys
My
are
first thought, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying my first thought was also that's an awful lot of snakes. I wouldn't want to live there.
Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, don't worry, you'll all get a chance to share in just a second. So basically what you all just did is the first step that all scientists kind of do upon some type of new discovery. like whether it's something in nature or, you know, like something you're doing in the lab, like you observe something, and for some of you, you have the questions kind of start flowing. So now that you kind of done the first step of scientist, being a scientist, we're going to kind of like see how well we can kind of like push that together. So I always take off my share when I don't want to. Okay. So now that you kind of have some questions and you've made some observations, like how would you actually kind of like test some of your ideas? So I'm going to put you guys into groups for just a little bit. And then you're just going to develop like a simple plan. Don't try to, you know, make this like a complicated like science fair project or anything, but just what are some of the initial thoughts that you all come up with? So I have to stop share, and then I'll put you all in breakout rooms. Yeah. So you'll be randomly matched into a breakout room, so you get a chance to meet some of your other kind of classmates, and together just kind of come up with one observation that you want to focus on or one question, and then like what type of plan, like how, if you wanted to kind of like test, you know, or make an observation of like how many plants like are on the environment, or like is there something special about like this environment that gives rise to like one type of species or another, like what are just some of your kind of like rough ideas? So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms and then give you about 5-ish minutes. And then we'll all come back together and I'll see what you guys came up with. Okay, so I have about 30 minutes.
Can I go first?
Of course.
Okay, so one thing that me and my group saw is that there's a high amount of rodents, reptiles on the island or on this land. So obviously they need food. So we want to examine like the rodents that they're feeding off of to see like how they're like keeping up with the requirement that to keep this many reptiles.
That's actually a really cool idea. And so kind of like some feedback to that. So like if you started with your kind of question, and then you have like your experimental approach. Then obviously with some more development, you'll kind of get into like what's needed for all your controls and things like that. But yeah, that's a really great start and a really interesting idea. I would read that paper. Anybody else?
My group focused on like all the vibrant colors. So we said like what their diet might be or what predators they have because they might have to hide. And someone else said maybe for like mating they might have to like, what's it called? Like just look appealing, I guess. I don't know.
Attract.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's birds when you call it plumage. But that's actually really a good idea for mating preferences to is that the reason underlying some of the vibrant colors, like in you guys are focusing on reptiles too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the reptiles. Cool. One more group.
My group, we focus on they're basically the same thing they did, but like how they adapt to their environment and how it helps them like survive and thrive in their environment. That's what we were talking about, discussing.
Cool. That's actually a really good approach to like seeing because obviously all these like things are thriving on this new land that we found. So like what about this land like caters to their real life and their population boom kind of thing. So good job, everyone. You all are ready to be scientists. All you need is just some degrees behind your name and you're ready to enter into the field. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and jump back into our lecture since I figured out a smooth way to keep switching back and forth. Okay, so you guys became our bio explorers and kind of really develop some really solid kind of like research plans for some ideas that you want to test on your magical island. So thanks for participating in that. But really what you guys did was the use of inquiry. And so what is that? And so inquiry is basically the search for information and for explanation. It is the root for all kind of like science. It is the thing that actually drives us to learn, being that kind of like initial spark of like curiosity and like, how can I like test an idea? I observe something, I have a question, how do I kind of pursue that? And so every person that needs to be successful in science needs kind of like an inquiry. And so fun fact, all of us are born with this. Like if you ever watch kind of like babies for a long amount of time, you'll see them kind of like test certain things, like even with crying, like, oh, if I cry, will someone come, see what I need? Or if I drop something, does someone, a big grown up, come over and like pick it over? You'll see them begin to just kind of like test things like over and over. The sad thing is that because of certain barriers in our education system, like all of us don't always have the resources to kind of maintain that inquiry kind of like focus, pursuit and built of activities. But it's okay, because in this course, you're going to get it back. So there are two main types of scientific inquiry. And so actually you guys kind of did both. One is discovery science, and the other is hypothesis-based science. And so we'll start with discovery science. This is basically kind of self-explanatory with the definition. It's when you don't necessarily have a question, but you just like discover upon something. So this is a scientist, I forget her name, but she's really popular for studying chimps and monkeys. You know, you don't necessarily have a question about like what, you know, what the monkeys are going to do or how you're going to like desire a test. You basically just discover upon something and just keep observing and recording, you know, data and measurements. You just get to see the natural structures that exist within like the animal behavior and some of the natural kind of processes that it goes through. Sorry, I got cut off a little bit, but you're only doing observations. You're not trying to like manipulate anything. You're basically just like a kind of like fly on the wall, and you sit back and you watch what's going on. The second is hypothesis-based science. So this is more probably the more kind of common approach to get some real answers or support an idea. So you start with the observation, which is what all of us did. We watched the video, we noticed things, whether it was like the color of the reptiles or I'm going blank on some of the other things you guys noticed, but whether the environment is contributing to the way of life or the thriving population of the species. So you start with your observation, and then you come up with a question, like, is this color in this reptile needed for mating? So you guys already did that without even knowing exactly like what you were doing. And then what's next is you have to make your kind of like question into a hypothesis, which is often referred to as kind of like an educated guess. But you take it a kind of like a step further, and you wanted to make it more of a tentative answer to a well-framed question. So one way to kind of like look at a hypothesis is that you're almost kind of like choosing a side. So the answer that you kind of come up with your question is either going to be, I don't want to use right and wrong, but it's either going to be founded or not founded. And so with your hypothesis, you choose a side for what you want your answer on, and you develop your hypothesis. After that, you design your experiment or create a prediction that kind of like allows you to create a scenario in which you can test your hypothesis. You look at your results, and then you figure out if your hypothesis was supported or rejected. And that right there is the whole scientific process. Skip that. So making a hypothesis is not as, you know, straightforward as it may seem. There are kind of some rules to making a good hypothesis. It has to be testable, and you have to create a hypothesis that has the opportunity to be proven wrong. So what does that mean? So in order for it to be testable, you have to design an experiment in which you can create the actual scenario or observe the actual scenario in which will give you some data towards whether your hypothesis is supported or not. And falsifiable, you can't just make a statement that you can't prove wrong, because otherwise you're biasing yourself with your experiment. And we'll go through some examples in just a second. Kind of skip that. So, and also failure to falsify your hypothesis does not prove that hypothesis. In science, we often say that science never proves anything. You often just provide support. And so a lot of times, like, it's really bad science behavior to say like, oh, I proved this. No, you just gather support. And so some things have so much support that we accept it as true, but there's always a situation that like, it still could be wrong. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Okay, so I'll let you guys read this hypothesis example. Whenever you're ready, you let me know. Is this a good hypothesis or a bad hypothesis?
I really got that pack just to get no fucking yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was that driver.
Hi, Jackie. Please mute yourself.
I think so. I was trying to figure out who that was. It's hard to see on screen share. So any ideas? Anybody want to take a stab at this one? Good
So,
hypothesis.
It's a bad one because you cannot test it and you cannot falsify it.
True. So like we barely understand the universe that we live in. So making a hypothesis about another one that's larger, while it could be true, there's no way to really set up our experiment. We don't have the tools or the resources, or the science isn't ready to kind of like move past that. Thanks. What about this one? Someone else. What is wrong with this hypothesis? You guys got so quiet on me. Come on, still friendly.
Like Casper, the friendly ghost.
Exactly.
Similar to the other hypothesis that you use in example 1, there's no way to test if ghosts are real or not, or if they're present. So we don't know if lightning is going to be caused by angry ghosts.
True.
Or even if there was a way to see if there's a ghost, we don't know if it's angry or if it's not angry.
Oh, that's so cool. And you took it a step further. That actually kind of relates into my third example. What's wrong with this hypothesis?
Good is very subjective.
Mm-hmm. How do you prove it? Well, it would take what do you mean by good people? Like you can't, that's not a true scientific kind of like term. So like you can't really like test this because good is relative. So depending on who you ask, you'll get a lot of different answers. Okay, so now we're all familiar with how to spot a good and a bad hypothesis and the things that kind of go into really making it the requirements for having a successful hypothesis that will kind of lead our experiment. So let's talk a little bit about data. So we need data because the data is going to inform whether our hypothesis is supported or not. And data is basically just like our recorded observations, so like after we set up our experiment, like what do we have? Data kind of falls into two categories. You have qualitative, which is kind of like descriptive rather than measurements. And then you have quantitative, which is actual kind of like recorded measurements, usually like a number value, usually some type of table or graph. This figure kind of like illustrates that a little bit better. And so a good way to distinguish between qualitative data and quantitative data is realizing whether or not you can count it. So qualitative data can't really be counted. And so if you guys have ever done any of those like surveys where they say like, pick a smiley face or a sad face to pick how satisfied you are with something, that's qualitative data. If someone is telling you to pick a color based on your emotion, or like, are you have done one of those, what do you call it? Like strongly agree or strongly disagree kind of like surveys. I mean, there are ways you can switch those and make those quantitative, but the initial data is qualitative. And it's not to say that one is good or bad. It just kind of depends on your study design. And so most biology is quantitative, but there will be some things once you get into behaviors or things like that for you guys going into that later in your career. You will have the opportunity to work with both quantitative and qualitative data. So that's our little focus, a little background on the initial scientific process. How do we, create hypotheses? How do we design experiments? What type of data, do we look at? And now we really get into like the kind of like meat of our subject. We'll probably run out of time, but we'll get to where we can. So the central question of biology is, what is life? Biology is the study of life. So you would think that throughout this process, we kind of can come up to an answer to that. I would tell you right now, there's not a real answer to like what is life. In the biology, you can distinguish between, there are certain categories, qualifications that distinguish living versus non-living. But the old question of what is life is something that will remain not be answered throughout this course, or probably within any of our lifetimes. So when we look at our environment, we kind of break up things into two different factors. We have abiotic, which refers to like non-living things like in the environment, and biotic, which would be like the living things. So if you kind of look at this picture, just quick shout outs, what do you think, which would be biotic, which would be abiotic?
The grass would be abiotic.
Is grass non-living?
Well, actually, no, the water would be.
There we go. Yeah. And so oftentimes we make the mistake of forgetting about our plant friends, but they're just living. They just don't really move. Anybody else got some guesses? What about the air, the sky, things like that?
Abiotic would be the log.
That's actually an interesting thing. So technically, the log was part of a tree, which was once living. So technically, that would actually be a biotic factor. I didn't think about that one, but I'm actually glad you brought that up because that's a good example. So biotic is separated into things that are either currently living or like once living. So just because something is dead, I know that gets a little bit confusing, but it's still like a biotic factor. The easiest way to kind of like separate these things is like abiotic are like, sorry, I couldn't see your name, but like the water, the air, the dirt that the, kind of like grass grows in.
The sun.
Yeah, the sun. I think that was about all. But abiotic is pretty much everything that lives, whether it's a plant or an animal or an insect, which is also still an animal, or like the bacteria in the water or things like that. And so when we look at how we actually kind of like qualify life and biotic things, they go into these three domains of life. And so you have the bacterial domain, which constitutes the many different divisions of all the bacteria in our lives. Sorry, I just realized I was not moving on the thingy. No, that's not what I wanted. And then we have this other kingdom, which you may not be, domain, sorry, as familiar with, called Archaea. These are kind of like our most like ancient organisms. They usually live in kind of like extreme environments. So we often forget about those. And then we have the eukaryote, which is pretty much everything that is a eukaryote. And if you have forgotten what those terms mean, don't fret, we will get to those in a later time. But some key things to kind of remember is that archaea and bacteria are all prokaryotic, which basically means that they're unicellular and they don't have internal membranes. So they also have DNA and things like that, but everything is not bound by membranes, and they're always, like, for the most part, unicellular. When it comes to kind of like eukaryotes, that means that the DNA is contained within the nucleus, which is a membrane-bound organelle, and so are most of the other kind of like organelles within the cell. This is a very diverse kingdom because it represents everything from protists, which could be unicellular, all the way up to humans, such as ourselves. And so throughout the course, we'll dive deeper into those things. And so we'll end on this slide for a sake of time. But what do we call, how do we determine if something's living? Like, what do we look for? Like, if you stumbled upon something in the woods and you're like, is that alive? Like, what what would be one of the first things you looked for? No wrong answers.
Movement.
Movement.
The color.
Take your breathe.
Breathing. I like that one.
Color.
Color.
They
That
have
one's
to eat to
tricky.
maintain a diet.
Movement is
Smell.
uh, yeah, but some things smell weird. Like a lot of mushrooms don't have the best smell, but they're still alive. So smell isn't always the best one, but I like breathing. That kind of like shows that there's some type of interaction with your environment. Movement is also a good one because in order to move, you need to be processing energy. What else?
Eat.
Sorry?
They have to eat to maintain a diet.
Yeah, so if it's eating, there's also a really good sign that it's alive because that also shows that a need for like energy kind of like transfer. Any other wild guesses?
If it produces waste.
Produces waste. True. When you eat something, you also have to get rid of it. I think mostly all organisms produce some type of waste. Yeah, so most of all the things that you guys kind of focus on all follow in this like energy processing kind of like realm. But there's a lot that you kind of look at. Is something growing? Is it developing? You know, like we all start as like these single cell kind of like organisms and we grow into these beautiful creatures that you all see around us. Can it reproduce? You know, is it responding to the environment? So like, is it moving? Is it like eating something around the environment? Like if you touch it, does it like, you know, shake or vibrate or something like that? That's probably not the best example. Does like something adapt, you know, like has it adapted to its environment like over time, such as the case with the seahorse? Does it have a particular like, order? How is it structured? Does it have like a head, shoulders, knees and toes kind of like thing? So those are all kind of like some of our characteristics that we really look for to see if something's alive. And kind of with that being said, I will skip to our last slide because we are out of time for today. As soon as my mouse starts working. There we go. Okay, so just some reminders for the end of class. So you'll have your reading response activity. It'll be posted right after class. If it's not posted now, that's due Thursday. It is a TED Talk video talking about the brain and emotions. So it should be an interesting watch. The prompt questions are posted in the activity. It is located in the discussion board group. So you'll be responding to it on the discussion board for a grade. And between you know, now and the rest of the week, please get to know your ATPA coach. Visit her sessions and everything. I am also your instructor for lab. So I will see you, I think lab starts at 3:25. So I'll see you in exactly 10 minutes. So if you guys have any final questions that we didn't get to today, in this moment, I will be happy to answer them in the lab section, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right, thanks. The Zoom link is different for lab and lecture, so please log on to the Blackboard site for your lab course and join that Zoom link. All right, and thanks everyone for a great class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sharon?
Yes, Professor.
Oh, sorry, were you stuck in the waiting room?
Just few minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So I was just telling the class that sorry, I'm going blank. The lab section is in a different Zoom. So if you are in the lab section of the course, log on to the Blackboard site for this particular course and join that Zoom.
Okay, for the lab.
Yeah, for the lab.
Okay.
All right, thank you.